One congressman claims he does not trust the testimony he heard from the folks targeted by the IRS yesterday. So we will cross-examine one of the witnesses themselves after a heated exchange we had here on this program yesterday. It's next. Jim Kookogey talked about how they lost a $30,000 donation because a lot of people don't want to donate to groups that haven't received that stamp of approval in officially becoming a 501c4.
That was not under testimony, under oath. I don't know. He didn't offer any proof. He didn't offer any proof.
He was lying? Is this your answer? One new fallout today from a hearing earlier this week on the IRS targeting conservative groups. During that hearing, Democrat Congressman Jim McDermott suggested that the targeted groups themselves may be to blame for the IRS's behavior. And yesterday on this show, Mr. McDermott suggested that perhaps those witnesses were exaggerating the harm that they suffered because they were not placed under oath. Here's that.
The only group that lost that was told they couldn't have an exemption was a liberal group.
Yeah, but
called Merge America.
But you know that many conservative groups, hundreds of them, were kept waiting with no answers for months and months and actually years at a time.
They were never denied their exemption.
But why is that? Who cares? Who cares? If you're stuck for 3 years with no answer, isn't that the same as an effective denial?
Wait a minute, Ms. Kelly. They can still operate. They can still collect money. They can still put out advertisements. They can use their First Amendment rights. Nobody at the IRS stopped them from doing that.
But Congressman McDermott, that ignores the reality of the testimony you heard. Jim Kookogey talked about how they lost a $30,000 donation because a lot of people don't want to donate to groups that haven't received that stamp of approval in officially becoming a 501c4.
That was not under testimony, under oath. I don't know. He didn't offer any proof. He didn't offer any proof.
So he was lying? Is this your answer to that?
No,
that anybody who claims that they lost donations they're misleading?
Ms. Kelly, you are putting words into my mouth.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
You are putting words in my mouth. Stop it.
I'm not, sir. I'm asking you whether you are rejecting that testimonial as not true.
I am saying people can say anything, and they do say in testimony before committees. But the fact is that we don't know that to be true.
Well, joining me now, the subject of that exchange, Kevin Kookogey, whose name I messed up yesterday. My apologies, Kevin. And you are the founder and president of Linchpins of Liberty. And so your reaction to Congressman McDermott and his characterization of your testimony.
Well, first, thanks for having me back on, Megyn, and thanks for getting my name right. It is hard, and even the committee missed it about 8 times on Tuesday. I'd like to start by saying that after being harassed and intimidated and having my constitutional rights violated for 29 months by the IRS, it is outrageous that a member of Congress would now attack the victim.
And that is what you feel he was doing there? I mean, because I asked him about that, and he said anybody who feels that didn't listen to his entire statement in which he did condemn the specific behavior here.
Well, if I were trying to make up a story and I were trying to or imply that I had received a larger grant, or don't you think I would have made it more dramatic? The boring truth is that I did receive a $30,000 grant, but if I were lying, you would think $100,000, $1 million, and I have proof right here, the letter, and you notice that I've redacted it to protect the privacy of the donor, but it indicates that I did indeed receive a $30,000 grant, and if the congressman would like a copy of that letter, he can subpoena it, but it will yield him nothing more than further embarrassment.
That's what he was demanding, because that exchange went on for quite some time. And by the way, it's posted on foxnews.com/AmericaLive if you want to see it. But that's what he was saying, that you didn't offer any proof and documentation, as if this were a court of law and the burden was on you to come prove the harm that had happened to you, as opposed to, you and your fellow panelists who were decent, hardworking American people who had been asked there to take time out of your day to help these lawmakers understand what the IRS has done, what it admits it has done.
Exactly. Yeah, Lois Lerner has admitted it, so it's not like we're talking about something that is conjecture here. And unlike the congressman, I don't make a distinction between whether I'm under oath or not. I tell the truth all the time.
He also came out at the beginning of his remarks yesterday and seemed to suggest, look, if you're upset about what happened to you, maybe you should be looking at yourself. And let me play you part of that.
None of your organizations were kept from organizing or silenced. If you didn't come in and ask for this tax break, you would have never had a question asked of you.
And he went on to suggest that what you really were after was to have no scrutiny of your group whatsoever. Your
Well,
thoughts?
Megyn, that's actually not what we're asking. What Congress is trying to do, and it was chilling because even during the testimony on Tuesday, they were attempting further to limit our speech by suggesting that the Democrats were saying what is social welfare to them is social welfare. But somehow or other, what we deem to be good for the social welfare, like limiting the size of the government and protecting individual liberty and keeping the rule of law, that is somehow not entitled to constitutional protection. Can you imagine if this was about race? If they said, Kevin, you can ride on the bus, but you have to sit in the back because of the color of your skin. And yet what they're doing here is violating every bit as fundamental a right and violating our free speech.
Well, I know from our viewers, Kevin, that the congressman got quite a few phone calls yesterday to the point where they claimed that his office was hanging up on them. They weren't happy about the way he questioned you and suggested and questioned your honesty. But we'll see what happens, whether he does subpoena that letter and additional proof from you and the other panelists. Thank you for being on with your story again.
Thanks so much, Megyn. Appreciate it.
All the best to you.